Robert Ory, I got Allie Clifton here. I got Trudell out at the stadium. We got Bresnahan working the post game as well. The Lakers have now won 5 straight games. Hey, they're finally over 500 at home. They're now 4-3. They've won 7 straight versus the Pelicans. How about this number, James? It was 45-30 with 6 minutes and 30 seconds left in the second quarter. Pelicans were winning. The Lakers went on an 80-40 to run.
Yeah.
80-40.
Yeah. All started with
40.
the clamp down defense. You know, they made the run. Pelicans, obviously, a young team coming into Los Angeles. You know, Ingram, Hart, Zion. You know, they're young. Everybody's going to have a great start against the Lakers because you want to impress yourself against them. But the defense picked up. I thought Kuzma, especially, you know, double-double again. He had one the other night, 11 for 11. You know, Caruso knocking down the 3. In addition, you know, to all the other little things he does on the defensive end. And I just thought, you know, LeBron, you know, he's just did LeBron like he usually does. And a good collective effort in the second half to close out the game.
I think they started out so hot, they had nothing left for the second half.
61%.
They was killing it. Hey, you know, we're going to talk about the Lakers offense. We're going to talk about the Lakers defense. But what I like to look at most is they took care of the basketball. They only had 6 turnovers in this entire game. And that's good for them because you look at a lot of the past games, they've been turning it over. But here they took care of the ball. They made good, sharp passes for good, crisp shots. And that's what you got to have out of a team that's playing a team that you need to beat. And these are one of the teams that you have to beat.
Yeah, the bench playing, everyone getting in again. LeBron James only playing 31 minutes, AD 33. How about this? Kyle Kuzma in his last 3 games, 30 rebounds. Double-double for Kuz off the bench. He's speaking with Mike Trudell.
All right, Kyle, you guys come off the road trip. Little bit of a slow start tonight, and then things flipped somewhere in the second quarter. What did you see was the difference there as you guys took over the game?
You know, we just tightened up on defense, made them miss a little bit more. And, you know, they missed some shots too, but we also made them miss. So I think that's the biggest thing. We got out in transition and run after we got stops, and you know, that helped.
All right, Kuz, 13 rebounds for you tonight, 2 short of your career high, but, you know, you've had to find other ways to impact the game without as many shots, just given what the other talent is on the roster. What has the rebounding focus been for you, and how did that play out tonight?
Man, I just got to get in where I fit in, you know, just trying to find my role on this team and, you know, just trying to bring energy, and that's what I'm just trying to do.
Hey, winning is always better than losing. You guys have gotten used to that over the course of the last 2 seasons. What about this new team with the new guys that have come in as you've become integrated with them? How do you think that's going, and where do you have to get to?
You know, we still got ways to go. You know, obviously we're getting wins while learning, and that's never a bad thing. But, you know, we definitely got ways to go defensively, cohesiveness, and, you know, just continue to make the right play on offense. So.
All right, Kuz, we appreciate the time, man.
Yep, thank you. Appreciate it.
Look at the second half shot. The Pellies shot 61%. In the second half, they shot 36%. They scored 58 in the first half, only 37. 37 total in the second half, 3 of 16 from 3. The Lakers outscoring 55-37. That second half, James, 30-8 run in that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
The 11 steals, the 6 blocks. Listen, we talked in the pregame show. Since AD called this team out defensively after that lackluster performance on that end of the ball against the San Antonio Spurs, the Lakers have not lost a game. Their defense has tightened up, and they're #1 in the league in defensive rating.
Yeah, regardless of how the game starts, sometimes they start out and they are poured on. The defense starts at the beginning of the game. Sometimes they have a little slow start. But it's always the defense that gets them back into the game and activates their offense. 31 assists. I thought it was a beautiful exhibition of the extra pass. Montrez being the recipient of a lot of those dunks. You know, Caruso getting into the lane. But defensively, as Rob said, you know, we knew they couldn't shoot 61% for the entire game. Yeah. And so the defense had a lot to do with that in the second half. I just think if they continue to play defense the way they are, they could be a little bit better than they were last year without the shot blockers because, you know, they congest the paint. They do a good job of drawing charges. So far, so good.
Yeah, knocking down shots. And the key is they got good shots from penetration, kicking, and making that extra pass. When they're moving the basketball like that, it's hard to stop. It's hard to see them do those threes off the move, but when they spotting up, knocking down threes at a 15 for 37, for 40%. You like to see that, not the ones where they're coming off the move, because some of those guys can do it, but not all of those guys can.
Rob, we saw what Frank Vogel and this staff could do with the personnel they had last year, their ability to adjust in a playoff series. With this kind of a roster, Frank, that staff, they're able to adjust as well. Throwing two guys at Ingram late in that third quarter, and all of a sudden you're taking the ball out of his hands. It takes personnel. It takes defensive-minded players, smart players. The Lakers have that. It's fun to watch them start to figure that out this year already.
Yeah, the ability to change course within the game is important in this game of basketball, because your game plan might not work in the first half, but you got to have a backup plan, and the Lakers are able to execute their backup plan. They got the ball out of Ingram's hand, they stopped Zion from getting into the middle of the paint, and they stopped the threes because they was just shooting the ball like carefree and knocking down shots, and they was able to get the guys, run them off the three-point line, make them make the extra pass, and they also got, some 3-second violations and some, hurried shots down the stretch.
James, I'm glad you brought up the offense as well. The 31 assists kind of jumped out at me. I didn't realize that until you said it. They continue to show that they're one of the...
Came out cold. We couldn't throw it in the ocean in that first quarter, and, those are the situations where your defense got to carry you and keep you in games. And give you a chance for that offense to come back around, and that's what we challenge our guys to do throughout the first half. And really at halftime we made some adjustments defensively, to slow them down a little bit, and really had a great defensive second half.
It's early, but you have a lot of guys shooting the three really well. You've spoken about some of them, but even Caruso, without that offseason, what does that give you to have him hitting shots consistently with that second unit? And it seems like it goes 1 through 10, 1 through 11.
Yeah, well, we have so many guys that are so versatile. Not only both they're two-way players, can carry their own on the offensive end and get it done defensively, but the offensive versatility. Right, guys that there's not a lot of one-trick ponies on this team. Guys that can put it on the deck, make plays in pick and rolls off of pin downs, attack the paint and make plays off the bounce, but also carry that threat off the basketball. With second side threes, and when you're playing with guys like Anthony Davis and LeBron James, those guys are perfect complements, and we're continuing to focus on shot quality, and as a result, we're shooting well from behind the arc.
Okay, Kyle Zoom, please.
You guys came out of that third quarter on a 15-0 run, that timeout. What did you say in that timeout that clearly inspired the 15-0 run and shut the Pelicans down?
No, there's nothing I said in the timeout. We knew what we had to do differently in the second half, with our defense. And, they came out, and I think we gave up an and one and a three to start, and that's not what we were looking for. But our guys are motivated at halftime just to come out and be better. Knowing that if it's a potential night where the shot's not falling, and our defense got to carry us, so they really just want to elevate their play.
And just as a quick follow-up, what do you think that says about the patience of the team to sort of hang in there for that moment in the game?
Yeah, well, we know it's a 48-minute game, and we got a great deal of belief in ourselves. Some games are going to be easier than others. Some games you're going to have to grind out. Things are not going to quite go your way. Like I said, the shots weren't falling. The ball was bouncing away from us on every rebound. And, we were struggling to get stops a little bit early in the game. So, you just be patient. You stay the course. You make necessary adjustments.
The road trip.
We just settled in. That first game after a road trip was always kind of difficult, always kind of challenging. So, we was able to just flip the switch, start to get defensive stops, get on, rebound, and run, got to our game, and was able to change the game around. So we got back to playing our style of basketball.
All right.
You pride yourself on being able to.
Go ahead. Dave, finish off.
Can I follow up quick? Okay, yeah, we know you pride yourself on being able to play as many minutes as needed. 365. Does it help though to have not to have to play over 30 because you're up by 20? Is that stuff that you can sort of build up and save for later in the season, or is it irrelevant?
No, man. I'm 36 years old, 18 years in the league. Ain't no save for something for later on in the season. My body is ready to play whatever I need to play throughout the course of the game. I go hard while I'm out there, and then I start my treatment after the game. So I wish I could bank time. I wish I was Justin Timberlake in that movie where I could bank some time, but I cannot do that at this point.
Okay, on to Kyle Goon, please.
LeBron, at halftime, I think the Pelicans were shooting 61%, and you guys were shooting 40%. You were down by a point. You guys were winning turnovers, free throws. What do you think you demonstrate when you are able to hang in games and then eventually win games by competing in ways that aren't just shooting?
Well, like I tell you all the time, every game has its own challenges, and every game is different. So you got to be able to adjust. They came out and they shot the ball extremely well to start the game. BI was 8 for 9 at halftime, and Zion was getting into the paint. They did a great job of playing some really good basketball in that first half. So we just came in the second half with a little bit more, tried to slow them down a little bit more, give them some different reads. But we stayed in the game in that first half, like you said. We was able to get to the free throw line. We was able to turn them over and get some fast break points, so that definitely helped.
Okay, Dan Wojcicki, please.
Hey, LeBron, what's your favorite part about where this team is at 14 games? What do you like most, what you're seeing?
That we continue to get better. I feel like we've gotten better every game. We continue to learn each other, and I told you guys that our film sessions, and our games are going to be like, practices as well, because we're close. A new group, for the most part. We got five guys that's been in the rotation this year that, was not in the rotation last year, and Dennis Dominguez, West, Mark Trez, and Taylor. So we continue to, the more minutes we get, the more games we get, the more, opportunity to get on the floor, and then the film session just helps our growth.
Okay, Bill Oram.
Hey, LeBron, could you talk us through the putback dunk after the Kuz miss? And then as a secondary question, you are 36. At some point, you're supposed to stop doing things like that. Is there anything physically that you feel like you can't do that you could have done 10 years ago?
Yeah, but I wouldn't tell you that. But I continue to put myself in the best condition I can be in. I train my body and I train my mind every single day. I come into the arenas or the facility, and I get in a lot of extra work. Preparing my body, preparing my mind, and hopefully I can continue to do what I'm doing right now at 36, and see what happens. But I tell you, I don't think that I can go to 46. We can go from 26 to 36, but I don't think I can go to 46. And I also don't think my wife would like that. Pretty much, she wouldn't like that either.
Okay, Dave McMenamin.
Another one?
LeBron, this is I think the second highest 3-point percentage of your career thus far. I mean, we're only 14 games in or whatever. You made a couple tonight. You go perfect from the free throw line. Earlier in the week, Frank Vogel said you're the best shooter on the team. There is a guy on the team tonight who moved up the top 10 list of all-time three-pointers for the Lakers in KCP. Are you the best shooter on the team? Have you ever been the best shooter on a team before? And where does KCP rank in that conversation?
We got a lot of great shooters on the team, man. KCP, great shooter. Wes Matthews, great shooter. Kuz can shoot the heck out of the ball. Dennis Dominguez can shoot the ball as well. AD can shoot the ball. So we got a lot of great knockdown shooters. Now, obviously, if someone say bet, I'm going to take my, obviously you guys know I'm going to take myself. That's just the competitive nature in me and the work ethic that I put into my shot. But I feel real good with my shot right now, both from the free throw line and also from the three-point line. And, I want to continue that, continue to give defenses, different styles of my play, playing pick and roll basketball, playing in the mid-range, playing in the post, getting out on the break where I've always been pretty good. So, continue to keep the defense off balance will help our team in the long run.
Okay, last two quick questions. We have Brad Turner.
What's up, Brian?
What's up, B?
Hey, look, when Dennis is playing defense like he did in that second quarter, what does that do for the team? And how disruptive was he out there?
I mean, you saw the energy, man. And, right now without fans in Staples Center, which we miss so much, man, just having a defender like Dennis Dominguez did, being able to pick up full court and get like 2 or 3 consecutive steals or deflections to get us out on the break, get us into it got us right back into the game. So, big time on his part, man. He's been doing it all year for us. And, it takes the offense, opposing offense out of a lot of stuff that they want to do, either coming out of timeout, having a set play. We're able to disrupt that and disrupt that with Dennis being on the ball and, just leads to a lot of energy for our ball club.
Okay, and last question, Melissa Rowland.
Hey, LeBron, I have I have an off-the-court question for you tonight. You've obviously been very outspoken for a long time about politics and social justice. I'm curious if there was a particular moment where you said, enough's enough, I don't care who I alienate, after something specifically happened where you're like, that's it, I'm speaking out.
I believe when I was in Miami, it was a Trayvon Martin situation. Just hearing about that story, having two sons of my own, and thinking if I send my kids out to the store and they never returned. And then the information that I got back was the information that I heard in the Trayvon Martin case, how heartbroken, how mad, how disappointed I would have been, not only with my community at that point in time, but with the police, the policing, either if they had a badge or not, the neighborhood watch or whatever the case may be during that point in time. That was the moment where I knew that it was much bigger than just basketball. And myself having a platform that I had, and us as the Miami Heat had at that point in time, we spoke on about that. You can go back and look at a picture of us having we took a picture with all our hoodies on, and just showcasing that just because we got a hoodie on, that doesn't mean that we are a criminal, that we are someone that means harm to anyone, and it's just a piece of clothing. I believe at that very moment, that's when it began for me, because it hit home for me when I thought about Bronny and Bryce.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks so much, Mom.
Here it is, right behind me. Most fouls in playoff history. Will Smith. Robert Horry. Man, looking smooth. Kareem
I got
1.
Shaq and Tim mixed up. My bad.
Shaq 2. Robert Horry 3. Tim Duncan.